This is the whiskey that actually got me into whiskey. So Laphroaig is actually from the Isle of Islay. Now the Isle of Islay is this little island off the coast of Scotland, and it's really well known for making smoky whiskey. Why is it smoky? Well, it's because of this thing called peat. If you talk to any farmer in New Zealand, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. Basically, before soil becomes kind of coal and oil, there's this middle part called peat. It's kind of this thick vegetation. In Scotland, they used to use it to heat their houses, to cook their food, but they also use it in making whiskey. What happens is part of the whiskey making process, you have to dry the barley. And normally they use like hot air, but Laphroaig uses peat smoke. So they burn the peat, the smoke goes up and infuses with the barley. But what's interesting is that smoky flavour is retained through the whole whiskey making process, the fermentation, the distillation, aging in casks. And this can kind of be a little bit like the Marmite of whiskey. People either love it or hate it. For me, I love it, I think it's amazing. But let's jump into the tasting notes. This bottle here, what's different from maybe, you might have heard of the Laphroaig 10. This is kind of the more approachable version. The reason for that is because of its cask profile. So this is not just aged in ex-bourbon casks, it's mixed with PX casks, which is like a very sweet sherry. In Spain, they actually pour PX over ice cream, like it's very sweet. So imagine what that adds to this. And it's also aged in quarter casks. Smaller casks, which means that you have more oak contact to the spirit, which means you're gonna get a lot more of those vanilla and kind of coconut notes. But let's see if that's true. On the nose, straight away, it's that bonfire. Some people call it like a burning hospital because it's kind of like the iodine, the medicinal notes, but on fire. It's like campfire on the beach, seaweed notes. You're probably thinking it all sounds disgusting, but I love it. But I'll tell you, this Laphroaig compared to the other Laphroaigs is a lot more approachable. This is kind of your gateway to Islay. If you haven't had a smoky whiskey before, this is probably the place to start. It's like they've turned the volume down a little bit on that smoke, but it's still there, and I think it's fantastic.